Hello, my name's Rob and welcome to Swift Slots. So I understand that the Golf livery is a little bit Marmite. Some people hate it and some people love it. I am most definitely in the love it camp and I make no apologies for that. If they did a wheelbarrow in Golf livery, I would definitely buy it. I rest my case. So, this is a video about Golf livery cars, my Golf livery cars, and just my thoughts on each one. It's not a review, there's no track testing, it's just taking each one of my cars, giving you some information that may or may not be helpful to you, and just giving you my thoughts and a bit of a close-up of each one. So, we'll get started, and I think we'll start with my Mustang. So, my Mustang. Beautiful car. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I've just got to get something out of the way with because it's getting in the way. This rear wing doesn't actually come glued to the car when you get it. It's on the under tray, hidden away in a bag. So that spot of glue needs for that. But I'll put that to one side because you've seen that now. But the bodywork itself is absolutely fantastic. I cannot find one single blemish on the whole of this car. Every single tampo is perfect, every single line is perfect, there is no orange peel on the paintwork, nothing. It's absolutely immaculate. So, to the chassis. Now, as I understand it, this is the old Capri chassis. In fact, it even says Capri right there. But that's no bad thing, the Capri really goes well. It also has the extra reinforcing on the back end to stop the tramp, so that's a nice thing to see. And also, the front end comes very nicely set up straight out the box. So there's going to be no problems with running this car straight out the box. Now, this car is only 2 days old to me, so I haven't actually run this one. So, you know, err with caution on anything that I say. But I see no issues with this car whatsoever. So the wheels are very, very nice. Single axle on the front. It actually comes with M2 Allen keys to adjust. Not all cars actually come with the Allen keys themselves. Some come just with holes, but this one comes with the screws, which is great. Brass bushings in the back end, which is nice to see. A nice full motor pod, which has got lots of adjustment in it. So, nice neat braids. And there we are. So, oh, alloy wheels on the back too, I've just noticed. That's awesome. We've actually got alloy wheels on the back of the car. That's really nice. I didn't even spot those. Plastics on the front. So there we are. That's my Mustang. On to the Lancia. So the Lancia, again, stunning bodywork. Not a single tampo out of line. Every single line completely clear and crisp. Now in this particular instance, the body wasn't 100%. We got these beautiful grills on the bonnet. And not to my dismay, but, you know, it was there. Some of these grills had what looked to be paint blocking up some of the holes, and I thought, well, that's a little bit disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. So I got my 20 times jeweler's loop and I started to poke some of the louvers with a very, very sharp, very fine scalpel blade in the hope that I could possibly open up some of the louvers and get rid of some of the paint. As it turned out, the paint wasn't really paint, it was actually the tampo print overlapping the hole. So you barely touch the little bit of tampo print in the groove and it just fell away. So with that, I got a toothbrush and I toothbrushed the grill just gently, and almost all of the paint that I thought was paint all fell out and completely exposed all of the grooves, all the little louvers and that was absolutely marvellous. And it didn't get all of it out. There's still a little tiny bit. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. There's a little tiny bit of actual blue paint filling the louvers over here. I might do a little bit of black wash on those ones and just let the black wash do the work rather than picking away at the paintwork. But that's a minor thing. The actual car is fantastic, so I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you. It's still a lovely, lovely body. So onto the chassis. Now, when I first got this car, I got it from the Gaydon show. I collected it at the Gaydon show from Pendle Slot. When I got it home on the Monday, I had a good old look, and I noticed that the rear gear here was actually split. Now, I didn't actually realise that that was a thing in slot cars. It's common in model railway, especially Graham Farish of the 90s. They were plagued with split gears. And I think some of the Scalextric's pinion gears can split over time, but I wasn't aware of it in slotted style running gear. But I gave Pendle Slot a ring, or an email, and to their credit, instantly, the very next day, I had a replacement gear. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. They instantly replaced it. That you can't fault service like that, so I don't even see the split gear as an issue, because it's not an issue, because Pendle absolutely jumped on it, sorted the problem out instantly, no problems whatsoever. So that was great. So this car, as you can see, it's got a pod in it as well, lots of adjustment, and the front guide is also set up nicely for running straight out the box. And the wheel clearance of the body when it's on is also very, very good. No problems at all. Now, I did actually adjust the front end of this car slightly, because there was a little bit of, the wheels are a little bit inboard, which I wasn't overly happy with. So what I've done is I've made some brass spacers that just drop inside there. If I recall, they're 60,000ths of an inch, so 1.25 mm on each side, if memory serves. And that just got the side-to-side place spot on and got the wheels within the bodywork. Now, the other thing is, you'll notice that this wire is off. Now, when I got this car out the box, apart from adjusting the front axle, it ran beautifully. I was dubious. For some reason, I don't know why, I was dubious that the car would run particularly well around my track. I just didn't really know. I don't know why I thought that. I just did. But I was so wrong. This car is an absolute dream to run. It's so smooth and it's so stable. Now, the back tyres are not the grippiest in the world, but they're not bad. Round Crow Valley, 55 seconds is a decent time. That's respectable. This car did it in 53. And the only thing that held it back from going faster were the rear tyres. But 53 seconds is still a very, very good time. So I'm happy with that. So with a set of rear tyres, and these aren't even trued, by the way. I'm looking at them now underneath the light of recording here. And I can see a wear pattern around that tyre that's probably about 60% overall, maybe even 50% to be honest. So if these tyres are actually trued, then those times would come down. I'm absolutely sure of it. Now, the only thing that stopped play was this wire. It snapped off. So that's just one thing to note. And you can see a little bit of red paint all around the guide here, where it's obviously been twisting and flaking away. So perhaps the wires are a little bit dubious, and I'm looking now, and yeah, maybe they are a little bit dubious. So I mean, change the wires for some decent silicon quality wire, and you'll be well away. That's an issue, non-issue. The other thing that I did notice, which was a bit of an issue, maybe sort of, but turned out not to be, is how stiff this guide is. Now that is really, really stiff. So I got a little test, and I'll show you how stiff it is. So I call this test the bristle test. And it's a very fine paintbrush with nice free bristles, and see if we can turn the guide. And as you can see, there's absolutely no way that guide is turning with my paintbrush. So I take a plastic coffee stirrer. Now watch this. Look how much tension has to go on that coffee stirrer to get it to go. That's a lot of tension. Now, that's another reason why I wondered whether this car would perform particularly well when I got it on track. But I can tell you, it didn't make a difference. This car is an absolute dream to drive. It goes so smoothly. It's just a joy. It's just an absolute joy, which is why I hope my Mustang goes so well. So to free that off, that's not going to be a problem. All you need to do is pop the guide out and then ream the hole with a drill. I can't get it out for a second, but it's just on a sprung loaded clamp. There's no screw in it or anything. You just squeeze the tops together and push it out. I can't actually do it for the minute, but no, it doesn't want to come out. But that's not helping. So you need to just free up your guide and get that working better, and then change the wire for some silicone wire. And this is an absolute joy to drive. So that's my Lancia. We'll move on to the Legend. So the Pioneer Legends are a bit of a legend, as it turns out. But again, the paintwork, absolutely flawless. Every single tampo, beautifully done. Every single line, beautifully done. Not a hint of orange peel anywhere to be seen. It's an absolutely gorgeous car. Proper etched windows, proper etched grille. They're just beautiful looking cars. Lovely little wheels. Look at the red lines in those wheels. Now, they do have textured tyres, but, you know, they can be sanded off. So, off with the body and into the chassis. Now, one thing to note, these bumpers are removable when the body comes off. So, just bear that in mind. You don't have to go fishing around on the floor for them when they fall off. So, again, this car absolutely goes like a rocket. Now, the wheels aren't necessarily the roundest wheels in the world, I don't think. And the tyres most certainly aren't the roundest tyres ever made. So she does hop quite badly. I run on a non-magnet MDF track. So this car, it needs a bit more attention to run on an MDF wooden track. So magnet cars probably won't pick this up so much. But on a wooden track, it needs to be addressed. So I would start by truing the wheels themselves. Get those nice and round, and then true the tyres as well, and then you'll be in the chips, as they say. So a couple of other things to note on this car. There is quite a bit of side float in the back axle. That's really not going to help handling, so that needs to come out. Also the front end as well, little bit of wiggle in the front end. Also the bushes, they could do with being glued in, get those from moving about. And the guide, well, what can you say? The guide is quite comedic. There's quite a bit of movement in that guide. Everything you heard about the Pioneer guides, it's true. They are less than ideal. Having said that, I've run this round Crow Valley and it's absolutely fine. The car is well planted. It goes extremely well, and the slop in this guide really doesn't seem to matter. They just go so well, it doesn't matter. And as you can see, there's no weight in this car at the moment, and it still runs extremely well. Good top speed, really good handling, a little bit noisy, but that could be taken out with a bit of toothpaste on the gears to free it up. But just an overall great little car. Runs really, really well, and being such a short wheelbase, it nips around tight bends like you wouldn't believe. Really, really stable. That's a great little car. So, on to my McLaren. So, my MR slot car McLaren. Again, absolutely flawless paint job. Beautiful, beautiful tampo printing. Lovely, lovely lines. Everything's clean, everything's sharp. Wonderful interior. Absolutely great looking car. Unfortunately, this car is extremely challenged out the box. Now, I know these cars go like a rocket. I do know that there's plenty of performance in this car when it's set up, but it will need to be set up because I haven't actually managed to get it to go round my track even one lap so far. It's hopeless, and I shall show you why it's hopeless. As standard in the box, these wheels are so far up into the body they do not move. There's no way. And if you adjust the screws to drop the wheels down, the guide is nowhere near the track. So that's a big problem, and I can show you, if I take the body off, on the setup plate, in its standard form, where the wheels are too high as it is, the guide isn't even touching the track. It's nowhere near. So if you were to lift the wheels away from the body, you'd be lifting the chassis further and creating even more of a problem. Now, you can undo this screw here and drop the guide down. Now, if you undo the screw all the way, you can actually get, and as you can see, the screw is extremely short, and the guide is right to the top of its slot. So there's nowhere that the guide can really go. It's a bit of a design issue in my opinion. The guide needs to be longer. So even with that all the way out, you still need an awful lot of downwards movement on the standard guide to actually get the braid to touch the track reliably, and that's still with the tyres too high up in the chassis. They need to go down lower to clear the body. Now, you can put low profile tyres on the front, I understand that, but to be fair, you should be able to use the kit tyres really. You just need a different guide setup, a better, a deeper guide, or not a deeper guide, but a guide with a longer shaft to solve all those problems. So, and also another thing you'll notice is this. As you saw, all I did was tap the chassis with my screwdriver and the wheel centre fell out. Now, when I got this car in the box, I had 2 wheel centres floating around inside the box. Again, not great, but it's not a big deal. You just put a bit of glue in there and pop it in. But the other thing to note is that it has alloy wheels on the front and alloy wheels on the back. So that's a really good feature. It's also got a full pod, so fully adjustable. And as I understand it, this car really does go like stink when it's set up properly, but it will need to be set up properly. So there we are. That's a little brief look at my McLaren. So a little amendment to my sideways Mustang. Going through the video here, editing it out, I noticed that our old friend Mr. Split Gear has come back to haunt us. So on the back of my sideways Mustang, we have another split gear, exactly the same as my Lancia. But I'm not worried. So just something to be aware of with these sideways cars. Does seem to be a bit of a recurring theme. So there you are, a little bit of a close-up of my own personal Golf coloured cars. It's not the only cars that I've got there in Golf livery. I've got some Hot Wheels too. There you go. I think most grown men have got some Hot Wheels stashed away somewhere. I know I do. Anyway, on to something very slightly different now. So, with a golf-themed video and golf-themed Hot Wheels, and as a bit of a thank you for getting to the end of the video, I thought I'd do a treasure hunt. Here it is, the treasure hunt car. It's not a super treasure hunt like the Hot Wheels do. I know this was offered in a super treasure hunt version. This isn't that. This is just your regular mainline Hot Wheels car. So, all you need to do is go onto my website, www.swift16.co.uk, and hidden amongst the categories will be this car using this picture. If you find that car on my website and it says in stock, you're in luck. Quickly add it to your basket and check out. There'll be no charge, the car doesn't cost a thing, the postage is completely for free. I will not be listing it down below in the comments, I won't be entertaining any of that, so if you see any scammers in there saying we can sell you it, just send us some money, no. This car is for free It's only found on my website. There's no cost for the car and there's no cost for the postage. You just got to find it, add it to basket, check out with a PayPal account. We won't be taking any money and you will receive it for free. No problems at all. Unfortunately, I can't do this offer to an overseas shipping. It's just too expensive, unfortunately. It's just the way it goes. But anyway, if you go onto the website, www.swift16.co.uk, find this car. If it says it's in stock, you're in luck. Grab it quick and we'll send it to you this week. So hurry, it's on the website right now for free for somebody to win. So if you like this sort of content, maybe you'll subscribe. And if you could hit the little bell, that would be awesome. So until the next time, thank you very much.